Hello, welcome to Kobe's Reviews. You suggested, I review it, and welcome back to the Road to Christmas. Today, we are continuing on this road by taking a look at Disney's A Christmas Carol, starring Jim Carrey.
Christmas comes but once a year. But for one man, humbug. That's once too often. But this holiday season, is someone there? He'll be given a second chance to get his life right. You will be haunted by three spins. Expect the first tomorrow when the bell tolls one. Couldn't I take them all at once and have it over with? Walt Disney Pictures and Image Movers Digital present Jim Carrey in a new vision of the classic tale, like you've never seen it before.
What's happening?
In Disney Digital 3D and IMAX 3D. Disney's A Christmas Carol.
So, A Christmas Carol was released in 2009 by Disney, and in this version, Ebenezer Scrooge, played by Jim Carrey, is a heartless, cold man who has a real hatred for Christmas. He's not very nice to his employee, Bob Cratchit, but that all changes when one night, the apparition of his old partner, Jacob Marley, comes back to life and tells him that he'll be visited by three ghosts. These are the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future. And they do a pretty good job of scaring the shit out of him while also showing him the true meaning of Christmas. Actually, let me go back and rephrase that. They don't just scare the shit out of him, they really freaking scare the shit out of him. And that's the real irony. When I went in, I thought this was going to be too lighthearted, like too goofy, Jim Carrey as Mr. Scrooge and all the insane motion capture, especially by Disney. I thought this was going to be a real goofball. And don't get me wrong, there are some real goofball moments. Yeah, that had a lot. The rest of the movie is just dark, though. It's insanely dark. And don't get me wrong, I like dark stuff, which is the reason I like A Christmas Carol. It's a great blend of both dark and Christmas. But, good God, there's supposed to be some sort of connection to the meaning of Christmas. Like, take the scene when the ghost of Christmas present is supposed to fade away. Now, this is usually a quiet, somber moment as we say goodbye to one of our favorite characters. But here... Jesus! There's quite a few moments like that where they take the dark stuff a little too much. But what makes the Christmas Carol great is that it balances the dark and mysterious, and the joy of Christmas. You go to the dark stuff so you can come back to the light stuff just as much. This movie takes the dark stuff way too much. But with that said, how are the performances? Particularly Jim Carrey as Mr. Scrooge. You know, sadly, Jim Carrey is just one of those actors where every time I see him, I know he's trying. I know he's doing his hardest to make this, like, how do I handle this performance? But, I'm sorry, even every time I see him, I don't see a character. I just see Jim Carrey. It's like looking at Tom Cruise. You never get over the fact that it's just Tom Cruise. But, that said, his voice is very nice. It's very nice to listen to. He doesn't do over-the-top expressions despite completely over-the-top design. And he can play the character pretty good. Where he really doesn't succeed is playing the other ghosts. Now don't get me wrong, the idea of the same actor playing Scrooge playing all the ghosts works pretty well. Like, they're all different versions of him. And the idea that they say his lines back to him actually is pretty cool. But, yeah, they're a bit weird. With the exception of the Ghost of Christmas Future, who is kept in shadows the whole time, so really anybody can play him. The Ghost of Christmas Past, with a great design, but he has a weird Scottish-like accent and a weird way of speaking. Yeah, it's pretty awkward. The Ghost of Christmas Present laughs way too damn much in this version. It's sort of like that typical Jim Carrey laugh, where he's like winking to the camera, and yeah, it's pretty annoying. So that's one thing, having the character playing both Scrooge and the ghosts work. How do the other actors? Well, they're okay, but some of the voices are pretty good, like Gary Oldman I can hear a few times, but I hear Bob Hoskins like 6 or 7 times in this movie, and that's one of the most distinct voices ever. And I really like Bob Hoskins, he's one of my favorite actors, but when you're trying to convince us that these are completely different characters, I just hear Bob Hoskins. How's the motion capture? Some people have a right or wrong way of looking at this. Now, what's great for the actors, they can actually emote and they can be digitalized. It's great for the animators because they're animating the acting, how it's going. But sometimes it's like, have it one way or have it the other. There are some moments where it's like we're looking at something realistic, but then you have over-the-top cartoonish moments that are pretty distracting. So yeah, like I said, it does a little do over the top with the comedic stuff. So, is there anything to like in this version? Actually, there is a lot. The animation, it's actually well animated. The spirit of Christmas is there. The way the Ghost of Christmas Present travels Ebenezer along is really cool. I saw this movie in IMAX, and I thought this was really cool to look at. It's also pretty cool to look at on the TV. The shadow of the Ghost of Christmas Future is literally a shadow. That's a great idea. You almost never see him in 3 dimensions, so he's always up against a wall or against the sheets, and just a cool, creepy design. And, in my opinion, it does one of the greatest moments of any version of A Christmas Carol. This is it. Again, without giving too much away, but I'm pretty sure you know the story, Ebenezer finds out he's responsible for one of the deaths of the family member Bob Cratchit. Scrooge in every version has to see how Cratchit is doing as a result. And this version is probably the most effective. Cratchit tries to hide his pain from the family, but once he gets out of their sight, he stops, and since Ebenezer can't be seen, Cratchit doesn't know he's stopping right in front of him, showing all the pent-up pain he's going through. There's no way for him to escape, he has to face it head on. That was unbelievable. That is probably the best variation of that moment in any version of Christmas Carol. So yeah, there are some problems. Yeah, the film gets stupid at times, but there are some really good stuff in this version. I'm glad I saw it, and was it a version I watch every year? Probably not. But it is up there with one of the versions of Christmas Carol I would watch, aside from the next one, which we'll have a look at tomorrow. Till then, I'll see you then.